The success and future of the mining industry lies in the young people who will be entering the sector and taking up leadership roles. Today's guest is a co-founder and secretary of the South African Mining Youth Association and shares with us some of the youth challenges and the importance of developing and including young people in the critical parts of the country's economy. Vumile Mbonani is a youth business activist, writer, researcher and co-founder and secretary of the South African Mining Youth Association. Currently a BA in Government, Administration and Development student, he brings both academic insight and grassroots advocacy to today's discussion on youth challenges and the critical importance of developing and including young people in our economy. Vumile brings a unique perspective to our discussion, representing the voices and aspirations of young South Africans who are looking for their place in our evolving economy. Vumile, welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me and greetings to the viewers today.
Sure. Let's talk about your upbringing, where you're from, how you grew up, and just how your interest in mining came about.
Okay, so I was born in Guatemala, which is a town in the east of Johannesburg. And then I went to Lefaifa Secondary School, which is a township school. It's also in Guatemala. And then after that, and then I applied at the University of South Africa and obviously went through student activism. And I think that is where then as you grow, you see all the injustices and all the inequalities. And that is where then it sparked that thing in me that what can we do to then change the current status quo and make sure that young people are in the forefront of opportunities.
Yeah. You're a co-founder of the South African Mining Youth Association. Sure, it's quite a great start. I mean, starting such a big organization. How did that come about, and what does the organization aim to achieve?
So basically, in 2023, I used to attend a lot of networking events. So what we realized in these networking events is that they don't really provide developmental inputs into young people. But then you just go there, you network with people, you take their numbers. Some of them don't even respond to you. So then what can we do that can speak to the development of young people? I remember the unemployment rates then was about 49%, but now it's about 55%. So then now we come again and we had issues of illegal mining. And that's where you see how then can us young people play a role to actually help the mining sector to be a better sector, because it plays a role in our economy, about 6 to 8% in our GDP. So we took it upon ourselves then to start the South African Mining Youth Association to then create opportunities for young people. And we have three pillars, which is skills development, which is policy advocacy, and also making sure that young people are exposed to opportunities.
So you grew up in a township, popularly known as Ikasi, and there's just quite different challenges that young people in that space are faced with. Maybe just reflect on what those are and how they have impacted you personally.
Growing up in a township, sometimes we only believe what we see around us, and we don't really think that there's something outside the world we are living in, something bigger, something more exciting in a way. Because for me to get out and actually co-found the South African Mining Youth Association, I had to go out, meet people, go places. Then that is when I realized that there are actually opportunities there, but they really need us as young people to stand up and knock on those doors, because not each and every door will find you. Sometimes you need to go on those doors, knock, and fight for your space.
Sure. Your focus is actually on the development and inclusion on young people in the mining industry. How are you achieving that? And what results have you seen so far? I understand it's a fairly new organization.
So upon our establishment in 2023, now we had to find ourselves to say, are we going to be a membership-based organization, or are we just going to be an organization that would then represent the interest of young people? Then upon realizing that there is no use representing people which you cannot interact with, hence then we went on to say we need to make some a membership-based organization, making sure that we'll have stakeholders that we can represent and say, these are the young people and these are the skills that they have. How can you then support these young people? And then that is what we are currently doing. We have a few stakeholders which we are then working with, which then help with vocational training. We are also in talks with different mining companies that can actually help in providing mining visits, because I remember I had a conversation with the first year from UJOVETS. I don't remember well. And then I was speaking to him and he was telling me that in their exam they were telling them to imagine a mine. And then, which is not fair, I understand. So now we want to create that system where young people can actually go and they can know what is the difference between an open pit and an underground mine. When we speak of Mzege, what are we speaking of? That's there. So those are all the things that we are trying to create, not only for them to visualize it, but for them to be able to touch it, interact with it, and then they can be able to prosper in the sector.
Sure. I'm sure you do know a lot of work that mines do in communities. Have you seen some of that work? And what are your thoughts around the efforts to, empower young people? And also in your organization, have you seen a lot of mining companies or senior individuals really coming through to support the work that you're doing in Samia?
Yes. Actually, we've had a few mining managers and a few CEOs. Most of them give us advisors. Most of them are there, especially when maybe we want to attend events and so on and so on. They are there to actually support us, give us that advice and help us grow. But the most important thing then, it is the people that we are actually representing, because at the end of the day, if they don't get the opportunities that we say we want to give them, and then there's no use of this organization. So with these mining managers, with these CEOs, when we sit on the table, that is what we always discuss. Then go say, how can you help these young people? How can you mentor them? How can you make sure that you take them through this process, because you've done it, and surely you have the framework of actually doing it, and then give it to these young people so that they can be able to move along the career ladder and make something out of these opportunities.
Sure. You've had actually engagements with the minerals department around who you are, what you're trying to do. What support has the department itself really given to you as young people who are striving to create opportunities for young people in mining?
So currently, we've been in talks with them to say that they need to create a youth developmental skills framework, because currently the mining charter doesn't actually specify which skills are needed in the sector, which then comes a point of skills mismatch. Then you find young people going to study things that are not in demand, and then hence we have the huge unemployment rates, because now young people are there sitting with their certificates with things that are not in demand. So now, if we are able then to go to these departments and these mining houses and then tell them that, guys, this is the framework that we have. Each and every after 5 years, it should change. You should give us what the industry demands, so that we are able to then train this number of young people, so that you can be able to intake them and so on and so on. So those are the talks that we are having with the department, and so far that is what we've proposed, that we want to see a youth development skills framework that would then help develop young people in the mining sector.
You do a lot of research and policy reviews that is centered around the inclusion of young people. What is research saying? What are we seeing, and where would you say we are as a country?
Currently, one thing about South Africa, we've got really good policies, but then the problem comes in implementation. We really don't then implement the policies the way we're supposed to implement them. We then speak about the issue of illegal mining, and then you'd ask yourselves, how come is legal mining making so much money in our country, and young people do not have jobs, young people seek opportunities? What is then the government doing to make sure that young people can get opportunities out of those minds, because now it doesn't mean that if a mine closes, there are no longer opportunities. Surely there is something that young people can do there. So I believe there needs to be policies or stricter policies that can actually be implemented to make sure that when we eradicate illegal mining, at the same time we are creating opportunities for young people, making sure that young people have a voice and have a role to play in this economy.
Sure. The youth has got its challenges. What would you say South Africa's youth currently is struggling with?
For us, what we've realized, number one, most young people lack soft skills. The things of writing a CV, things of your writing emails. Yes, you have the qualifications and so on, but then when you get that job post, how you write your email, how you present your covering letter, and how you present your CV, it is very important. And also how you present yourself as a brand. I think that is what most young people should then realize, that if you're going to look for a job, you should present yourself not only as an individual, but then as a brand. You're actually selling yourself. So if you can't sell yourself, and then which means you will stay unemployed with your master's or whatever degree that you have. So then young people should learn those soft skills. They should learn how to write a CV. They should learn how to write emails and so on and so on. So I believe, number one, those soft skills, and then number two, we as young people, we don't want to take on stuff that we deem as hard.
Yeah,
we always want the easy way out.
Quick
exactly.
stuff, yeah.
So now, and also the importance of promoting STEM subjects, which will also help this country. Now we have the AI. It is growing, so we need to make sure that young people then also play a role there. But then they cannot play a role if they don't have that mathematics and technology background. It would then create problems for them. So for us, those are the problems that we currently see, and hence we would then see the high unemployment rates and all of these youth organizations forming. It's because young people are now demanding opportunities, and yeah.
Look, some people can look from far and make statements like the young people are entitled. They are demanding, like he's saying, we are demanding opportunities, right? How do you engage even your members in terms of what are you doing or what is your offering to the industry itself? Because a very strong value proposition and negotiation skills comes from what are you putting on the table, and then a very engaging conversation starts from. So for people perceiving you, young people, as demanding and entitled, how are we changing that narrative?
I think then that narrative need people who've been where we are right now, and people that understand our concerns and our pride, because now we cannot be complaining about one thing for about 20 years, which hence now the issue of mentorship comes in. Hence we need mentors, so that when we sit down and we present our issues, we don't present them from a place of anger, and we don't present them from a place where it's something that will only benefit the youth and won't then benefit the next part. But everything that we do should then include each and every stakeholder that is involved in making sure that the sector will actually go forward.
Sure. Where do you think a lot of opportunities for young people in mining lie? As in, if a young person is listening to you now, where should their focus be in light of, mining?
Number one is mineral beneficiation.
Oh, yeah.
Also need to look at technology. Young people should be able to analyze data and all of those AI things. And then number three would be small scale mining, which could also help with eradicating illegal mining in the country. Yeah, I think it would be those three things from me. And yeah, I think those are the skills or and artisanal
Yeah.
artisanal mining. Yeah, that is where young people should actually place their focus and get those skills.
Yeah. For me, talking about beneficiation that you've just mentioned is one of the critical focus areas for young people. Do you think South Africa is taking advantage of its mineral endowment? Maybe talk to us, because I know you've done a bit of work and research around this. Talk to us about, strategic industrialization versus exporting.
So no, I don't think we've actually taken advantage of that.
Yeah.
I think then our country needs to learn from countries like Australia. And then also, if then we bring foreign countries like China and the Western countries, then they come to invest in our country and our industries, then what is the output? What are we getting then as a country? Because they cannot come to develop our country and then we find ourselves 50 years down the line that we are owing them. Understand? So now we need to be able to create industries that will then create job opportunities, number one. Industries that will be able to drive this country forward, because without industrialization, I don't think there's anywhere that we can go as a country. And now we cannot have a gold that is mined in South Africa and then beneficiated in Europe, for example. Understand? So we need young people in this country who know all the value chain of the mining sector, the value chain, how these minerals are mined, how these minerals are beneficiated, and so on and so on, so that then we can be able to create these industries from that. But then for now, I don't think our country has taken that advantage. And I believe that we need policies that would then speak to beneficiation and how do we then go about. And I believe the private sector and the government can play a role if they come together in this area.
Sure. There's a growing emphasis on sustainability in the mining industry, as well as the inclusion of technology. How are young people preparing themselves, or at least how should they prepare themselves to really contribute in this space?
Then when we speak of I would then speak of innovation.
Yeah.
You know, you'd find that we do have many innovative ideas, but then sometimes you'd find that those ideas are westernized or Eurocentric, and then you'd find that the ideas that we have here in South Africa or Africa are then not given attention. Understand? So now we need to make sure that the ideas that young people have, number one, they are given attention.
Sure.
Understand?
Sure.
There's a girl in, I think it's in Vet. She has this hydro energy thing where she generates electricity from water. Those are the kind of ideas that I believe that we should be able to give attention to. Understand? So I think that young people should make sure that, number one, they are tech ready, like they understand simple stuff about tech. And I think that is where we could start, like flying drones, for example, that can combat illegal mining. Understand? And see how then we can also speak about health and safety using AI. Understand? How can we speak about cleaner coal? How can AI play a role and in sustainability and providing cleaner coal for the country? And I think from there we can be able to move forward.
Sure. Talking about cleaner coal, the industry is placing so much effort in decarbonizing, and you would have seen so much work that has started on the just energy transition. What are your thoughts about it, particularly when you're looking at wanting to move from coal and to renewables? So what's your thoughts around that journey?
So, as an organization, we've taken a stance on the just energy transition issue. So, what we believe in is that as a country, we cannot just move away from fossil fuels to non-fossil fuels just like that. It needs to be something, number one, that will actually have a policy to say in 2 years' time, then how much coal will we be reducing. And we cannot just reduce coal and not think about the people that are working in that coal industry. What are we going to do about that? There's also need to be a framework, what I want to do with that workforce, how I want to develop them to make sure that they fit into the new sectors and so on and so on. So we believe that as a country, we just need an energy mix. Number one, that will work for us, not an energy mix that will work for Europe, but an energy mix that will work for us as a country. And then I think that is how we could actually go forward, because number one, most African countries still don't have electricity. And then what do we do about it? Do we just move away from fossil fuels and go to non-fossil fuels? Things that are not tried and tested, number one. And so we cannot move just like that. It needs to have a policy, it needs to have a framework, and it would need to also include the people that are currently working in the coal sector and the businesses that are currently there, how we're going to develop them, and how we're going to develop these people moving forward. So we believe it needs to be an energy mix that will actually fit into our standards as a country.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on leadership in South Africa? What are we doing right, and what can we do better?
So currently our leadership in South Africa, I believe that we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that the generation that is above us is actually taking charge and giving us a space in terms of mentorship. They are listening to us when we come to them. So I believe it starts there, because they didn't have that, but then they are giving us that attention to say, guys, you need to be ethical leaders. You need to be leaders which will lead with excellence. You cannot be doing what we are doing, or those before us were doing, but then we need to be better leaders. So I think there needs to be a mind shift in a way to make sure that we have better leaders. We have leaders that lead with responsibility and pride. Because one thing that you must understand, once you are a leader, your needs, you put them last, but you put the needs of the people that you lead first. So those are the things that we need. We need people who are selfless and in taking this country forward.
As a young person in South Africa, trying to find yourself as well within the economy of the country, how does the future of South Africa look like, particularly when you're looking at the mining industry?
The mining industry is is a very exciting industry, but then most people say it's an industry of hard knocks. So then now when we come in as young people and trying to understand the dynamics of the industry, the politics of the industry, is that the things that need to change, especially when it comes also to entrepreneurship, to make sure that the economy of the mining sector doesn't rotate only on the same people, but then we actually decentralize it, making sure that most people then get opportunities out of this sector. And then number two, then it would be also making sure that we create more opportunities for young people, because now without giving opportunities to young people, and then we won't go anywhere as a country. So in terms of the mining sector, it currently holds about, as I've said, about 6 to 8%. We can do more. Like, my question is always, like, why do we play such a small role in the GDP when we know that we can actually do more? Like, what are the shortcomings? Because we know that the mining sector can provide more, the mining sector can actually do more, but where are we going wrong? And from there, how can we actually fix and move forward as a country?
Yeah. When you go around in your community and during office hours and school time, seeing young people roaming around the streets, what goes in your mind when you see that? Because I know it's there.
I do see it, and it's something that is very personal at times, because sometimes you would sit and then you would ask, what is wrong? Like, what opportunities do you need? And then a person would tell you, I just need a job. And then, what kind of a job do you need? What skill set do you have for you to actually get that job? As you spoke about value proposition, if that young person cannot provide value, and then it is actually hard also for us to be able to help them, because they then don't have the skill set that are actually needed, and it then becomes it is painful. It's really painful.
Sure. What is your message to the youth of South Africa and the industry leaders?
To the youth is that nobody owes you anything. Absolutely. Number one, and nobody will give you anything for free. And if you want something, you must work and work very hard. I would speak of Samia. Starting Samia was not something that was easy. It's still not easy to this day. Running it every day and so on. It's still not easy. So you need to take up on those things that you think that are difficult. And I think from there you'll be able to move. You need to persevere. Because the Omare blankets, they call that the future.
Sure.
To the leaders, I think they should then not gatekeep opportunities. They should open doors to deserving people, obviously. They should mentor us. They should guide us. They should call us out when we are wrong. And they should just show us the way. And I think that way, because truly speaking, the mining sector needs everyone, black, white, Indian, colored, and without everyone playing a role and all of us having the same vision about the sector, and then the sector won't go forward. So we need everyone to play a role. And I think that way, that is the only way we can take the sector forward.
Look, Vumile, thank you so much for sharing your insights, for sharing your thoughts, and really pouring your heart out to committing to growing this industry. It's truly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It is clear that our youth is prepared and ready to elevate our industry. Do your part in contributing to the growth and development of South Africa's future. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye and God bless.